Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. And world on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you guys got it. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning. Hold on. I didn't get my microphone set up right. Doesn't feel right. Hey, it's Wednesday. And yesterday sucked. Oh my gosh. Like, I only took one trade and we made money. Okay, cool. My like 401ks and everything got hammered yesterday. NASDAQ down 4 freaking percent. Are you kidding me? 4%? How? It's insane. Some of these market moves are getting pretty. They are in like panic mode here. Let me show you the chart. So we come back over here. S&P 500. Just look at that downturn. That is pretty insane. Now, I'm surprised on the NASDAQ it's lower, but on the S&P 500 it is not actually a low for the year. NASDAQ obviously getting hurt by those treasuries more. You can see, though, that the S&P 500 is trying to climb its way back, and some of the worst losses are being recovered, okay? Treasury was up yesterday, and it's kind of floating near the higher end of that range now. And maybe, well, on the open, we're not seeing a whole lot. The liquidity looks a little suspicious. We might see more upside action, though, in the Treasury. And then we got the oil kind of bouncing off of the 94s. Well, it's oscillating back and forth across 100, but I don't see anything too significant there. Natural gas kind of coming off of some more extreme levels. Gold and silver dropping below support levels and then bouncing back up. So it seems like there's still somebody willing to buy gold below 1900. So that one's been an awfully tough trade, right? And then we got Kappa. Kappa it's kind of been in a range past 3 days now. And then we got Bitcoin. Bitcoin getting hammered back below 40K again yesterday. It's not looking very good for Bitcoin, I got to say. Could be another, I don't know. You think it'll do it today? You think they'll drop to a lower low today? Then they could start pushing into like the extreme levels that are bad. I was reading this one thing about European regulators. They were discussing just outright banning Bitcoin mining. They were saying we're just going to outright ban mining. You all have to go to proof of stake. I know. But then they pushed back Ethereum proof of stake. So what are you going to do there? Dollar remains stubbornly high. Okay, so what I'm seeing still is a very high degree of just fear in the market. And I don't know, like maybe today is like you buy the dip and it all ends up being okay. But they look awfully concerned out there, don't you think? So that's where we're at. Treasury liquidity looks a little bit suspicious to me, so we're going to have to watch them sort it out a little bit, I think. What is with... Okay, we get there. Now, this morning, we have wholesale retail inventories. So that is an important number we're going to get in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 30 seconds to be exact. And what else? We got some stuff open here that we probably don't need. Bill Hwang arrested. Archegos owner charged with racketeering, securities, and wire fraud. Great. Excellent. Thank you. Glad to see it. The dog outside sounds like he is unhappy that he has been put in the pen. Let's check Twitter. Still getting some replies from some of those things, but no followers. I hate it. Screw you, Twitter. Nassim Taleb never depend on a single source for supplies or a single product. Well, yeah. Do you like or dislike Musk's purchase of Twitter? 78% like. That's from Mr. Topstep. Matching your mind with your market. And that's interesting. That's a Jigsaw article. Maybe we'll read that in a bit. Well, there you go. Some idiot claims that if Trump were president, the war would not have taken place. Wrong reasoning, even if true. The Western world, by definition, must not depend on a single person. Democratic systems must be distributed at all scales. I agree that you shouldn't depend on one person, but some systems are such that a single point of failure can be disastrous. Think about that one. Let's see here. Brannigan Barrett still tracking gold here. Have to be aggressive and big with this play. Market is playing to the tune you expect. Push home the advantage we expect. Once above 1897, there will be a stop run up to 1920. Yeah, maybe. It's like they're kind of getting there. Well, S&P 500 looking a little sad there. I don't know, guys. Man, that's just a lot of dramatic action overnight in the S&P 500. This is pretty wild stuff. Elon Musk tweets that Truth Social is currently beating Twitter and TikTok on the Apple Store. Screw them. I'm mad at Truth Social because they made it iPhone only. Okay, I'm gonna go get the dog because apparently he is still upset that he is over there. I'll be right back. Okay, Goku. Now, if you can be good and sit on my shoulder, then we'll let you stay out. Otherwise, you're going into your other little kennel that we've got in here. There you go. There you go, good boy. Don't lick my face, please. There you go. That's better. No, I'm not playing with you. Okay, so here's the wholesale inventory numbers coming. 2.3 versus 1.5. It's not a bird. You're right, it's not. If the chair height was higher, maybe he could do it, but it looks like he can't. We're gonna put him in this one, and hopefully he will not whine at me. Good point. Lay down. Lay down. Glad to see you got a new risk manager, right? I wish he would just sit on my shoulder though, because then you guys could see him. This shoulder, yeah. Then you guys could just sit and watch him. Have dog cam. It'd be great. And he'd make a great risk manager. Are you lonely? Try Shoulder Dog. Yes, Shoulder Dog can be yours for the low down, no expense price of $1,600. Shoulder Dog does not affect trading performance. Shoulder Dog does not positively impact trading performance. Okay, well, the Treasury's moving up off of that news now a little bit. Spreads in the micros a little wide for my likes. Yep, now he's going to try and shame me into getting him out. He can be like, Dad, don't keep me in here. Nope, now you're in there. I have to hold to it because otherwise you're going to think that you can just whine and get out of anything. No. I'll put you back outside. I'll do it. Little dog. I don't know. Listen, Keller. I know that free speech is a big thing with Elon Musk buying Twitter and all, but we're still on YouTube. We got to be careful about what we say. don't know if it's a wise idea to attack the great Dr. Fauci on YouTube still. By the way, the wholesale inventories number was 2.3 versus 1.5 again. So it was higher than expected. Therapy dog. Is Dr. Fauci recommend shoulder dog? Well, gold kind of topping off there a little bit, but it was looking good for a moment. So I think what the market is doing here is that they don't like that the inventory number is increasing because that kind of suggests that people aren't buying stuff. Man, it's even though I had the fan on blowing air in here all night and everything to try and keep it cool in here, it's hot in this room this morning. It does look like the trajectory is up. It's an awfully you know, it's a ziggy-zag trend, but it's an awfully consistent one here in the treasuries. But this latest move up here is a little bit more extended. You're still getting a poor spread here in the micros, which I think is perfectly reasonable for the market maker given the circumstances, probability of excursion in this situation. Uh-oh, Axios reports far-right extremists are a growing presence in gaming, researchers have found. The industry's hidden metrics, lackluster content moderation, and head-in-the-sand attitudes get in the way of assessing and combating the problem. Yeah, okay. You know what? I think that moderation policies across all social media are shit. Seriously. Oh, I didn't say that. It's poor. Like on TikTok, there's all these accounts. They'll like be trying to scam people in the comments and stuff. TikTok never does anything about it. Never does anything about it. I know, puppy. You're okay though. Poppy's wake up time is not 6:30. It won't be for a year or two until you're fully potty trained. Make me feel so evil, dog. It's got to be like 75 degrees in here, dude. I did everything I could to make it cooler. They might back off here a little bit. I don't know. They seem to be having a little bit of trouble with that big order at 13, but I don't think in the long run that will really hold them back too much. The current hysteria over fake news, including hysteria by people who have done more than their own fair share of faking news, shows the continuing efforts of the political left to stifle free speech in the country at large, as they already have on academic campuses, says Thomas Sowell. Linktree just deleted my account, citing inappropriate use of this service. When I try to log in, it says my account is no longer accessible. Why am I suddenly being censored? The libs of TikTok. Well, there goes Linktree. Yeah. There you go. I don't know. Let me tell you something. If you are a creator on TikTok and you want to make, a little web page that links to a bunch of other different things, just make one. Just make one. Just write it in HTML. It's super easy, guys, and host it yourself. Super easy. Oh, by the way, they did take through the 13, didn't they? Oil not looking so hot at the moment, by the way. Dude, do you think we'll get another bear day? I mean, the way that the market is moving right now, it's kind of like suggesting to me that we might get another bear day. I feel like the indexes can't handle another day like that. It's just the selling has just been insane. The degree, the size of those moves, all of them are like 3-4% all at once. That's just nuts. It's just nuts. I can't say it's the first time I've ever seen it, but it doesn't get any less crazy. Oh, there's another policymaker on my news squawk saying that the inflation is temporary. Was that a German minister? Now they're touching 12. Yep. Interestingly enough, though, the 30-year is not banking off. Oh, SNB Vice Chair, the current causes of rising inflation are expected to be temporary. How many places is this being broadcast? It's right now it's just on YouTube. I have tried from time to time to do some other services. Like a few weeks ago we were doing Share Vision and then I just kind of forgot about it, I guess. But yeah, right now it's just on YouTube. I could probably do something. I think back on it and I'm like, if I had focused everything, I like the idea that I get more discovery through YouTube, right? And the audience that we do have, um, largely I think came from YouTube's discoverability. That's changed now. We don't seem to get a whole lot of discoverability through YouTube. It's some, but it's not much. The numbers are definitely a lot lower than they used to be like a year ago. But I wonder, if I had been Twitch, if I had focused exclusively on Twitch, maybe the stream would do a little bit better. But you would have the problem that we had on Twitch was that the people that we were getting from Twitch weren't the kind of viewers we were wanting. They weren't very serious. So I don't know. Can't really say, but I continue to just stick with YouTube in the hopes that eventually YouTube will improve their streaming experience a little bit more. You prefer YouTube rather than Twitch? I mean, if you're watching content, I don't see what the difference is. The draw to Twitch is supposed to be the community, but sometimes the Twitch community kind of sucks, man. Yeah, that's why I was doing it. We got more serious viewers. We got more serious traders on YouTube. But I don't know. There was times when the stream was regularly hitting like 50 viewers, and then it was like the algorithm changed. Kind of sucked. But I'm the other side of it is that I'm probably pretty boring. Unless you want to talk politics with me, I'm probably pretty boring, right? And I'm really more of a I get you started, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you feel like you have your own opinions on the news and everything else, and you don't need the distraction, and so you stop watching. I think that's happening. Oh, that's interesting. The YouTube algorithm took you out of my recommends, and now that I'm paying for premium, you and Ben Shapiro are back? That's interesting. Man, I was hoping that I would maybe get an opportunity to sell it at 2.745, but they just went another little step higher. They're not pulling back much at all. So I'm expecting the treasuries to be a lot like yesterday. Like there's kind of this very passive bid in the instrument, but we could see some sells come through. Like yesterday, we had that news, right? So it was a buy. That news came in and sold it really hard, but then the buyers just kept going, and eventually they pushed higher. So that's what I'm thinking. I just kind of like the spread and the prices that they're giving me. Sometimes I'm a little bit too picky about it with the micros, but did you see all this stuff though on Twitter where a bunch of conservative pundits said that all of a sudden they gained 20,000 followers and stuff? And some people think that it's because Twitter was like manipulating things, but I'm kind of sitting here going like, or does that mean that the bots are just changing who they follow? I don't know. Tesla has to stay above what, 276 or 576, something like that, in order for the Twitter deal to go through. And apparently it takes like 6 months. So that's, I mean, that's like down 20% or something from where it is today. So that's still a pretty big drop, but for 6 months, I'm a little, that makes me a little nervous. Don't you think? Makes me a little nervous. But I tell you what, the happenings that we've been seeing in the world since Elon Musk, Twitter deal was made, certainly didn't help the put down any kind of conspiracy theories. It's really given the conspiracy theories some good material to work with, right? So they came back down through 13. Yes, he borrowed against his stock. But I think that it means that the stock has to stay above the key price until the deal is done, is my understanding. So it's got to stay above 576 for 6 months. And if it doesn't, then he would have to find more funding, which would be no good, right? Okay, well, the 30-year maybe decided to come back a little bit there. That 11.5 has the VWAP on it, A. Oh, you shared it on Twitter? Hey, thank you very much. I should probably tweet about it every day, but you know what? Every time that I'm on Twitter and I see Futures Trader 71 tweet the link to his Twitter, I think like, that probably doesn't help him because he does it every day. I used to put it in Discord every day, I guess. Yeah, I did. Why did I stop doing that? I don't know why anymore. Maybe I should. Maybe I should be. Because it really is, probably the deal is that if we want the stream to grow, we're going to have to do link sharing, huh? We're going to have to pimp the channel. Like on the regular videos, I think that the YouTube algorithm does its job. Although on this last video didn't do very well. But, I think that that's kind of expected. I'm sure that a lot of people see that video and they're like, I'm not that interested in that. Right? I think that video is going to be more like the people that come into Discord, they're going to see it, etc., etc. But I don't know. It maybe could grow over time. There's a couple of videos that like all of the order flow videos. There's a couple of them that like at their very beginning, I was like, oh man, they're not doing as well as they should. But they have all continued to get consistent traffic, so that's good. And I got some plans. So I think the next video, we'll see how it goes when it's edited out, because I remember when I did it thinking, well, am I really giving them enough? But I made a newer getting started in futures video that I think is a little bit more straightforward and focuses more on the other content on our channel that you're going to want to watch, So I think that will be good. And then we got the gamma hedging video. That one's going to be important. And then I'm also making a video about bond basics, which is one that I was kind of like, oh, I've never made a video about that stuff. I probably should have. I probably should have, huh? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have 2 ideas about some things that I want to add in there. Bond market basics. Correlations, and we also need to talk about trendiness. Spot Gamma said Musk, Tesla need to finance Twitter. Yeah. Lots of people talking about it. Lots of people talking about it for sure. Well, it seems that just having the debt on the books is affecting Tesla. And it may be one of the key drivers pushing this market down. So I don't know if this camera has slowly been dipping or something, but it doesn't look like right to me. That's a little bit better. It was just by a degree, but anyways, if they get back to that 500 level, that could be kind of crazy stuff, huh? Because that stock is very much relying on the momentum, right? A lot of it, at least, is the momentum. I mean, you kind of have to wonder. When I first started hearing a lot of media about Elon Musk, it was kind of unclear to me whether Elon Musk was a Democrat or a Republican or what. As time has gone on, it seems clear to me that he's more of a libertarian, right? But I'm sure that a lot of people have kind of been in that space where they're unsure what his leanings are. And now that he's bought Twitter, it's going to put the left decidedly against him. And you have to wonder, a lot of the allure of the Tesla stock has just been the popularity. It's like, well, it's the future, and Elon Musk is amazing, and he has all of the promotion and stuff like that. So could that hurt? Could that alone be bad for Tesla stock? Kind of seems like it could be a concern, yeah. To me, it kind of seems like that could be a concern. But I don't know. For them to keep Tesla down below 576 or whatever for 6 months would be, I think it would be hard to manipulate it for that long, right? But if we go into a bear market, or if Tesla just kind of loses the momentum from all this, it could happen, you know? You say you're doing well on your 2-year. I've kind of been looking at some of these and been wondering maybe I should try the shorter durations again. But when I've tried doing that, I kind of got screwed. I don't know. The problem is still, if I'm going to do the micros, is that the spreads are not very good, and the 10-year is the only place where the spread is really okay. You can kind of see here, like for instance, somebody's offering at 744. What do you think the chances are that he gets filled? You know, another one that we have to consider with all of that stuff is Google, or sorry, I'm sorry, Alphabet. Alphabet being down like what? 7%? Man, that is a big stock to be down 7%. Holy crap, Oda, right? Yeah, yesterday the news was Russia cutting off Poland and Bulgaria from natural gas. Yeah, so I haven't heard anything about Bulgaria, but Poland basically said that they already have plenty of natural gas reserves for their needs, and that it it's not a problem for them. But a couple of European countries did pay in rubles. Apparently, four of them did. So yesterday, when we had such negative action, I kind of was wondering, well, does that news story have anything to do with it? But I'm I'm leaning towards that it's probably a minimal factor right now. Okay. It's kind of what I thought might happen, but there's nothing happening at the 12. I don't think I want to. Well, okay, they're thickening it up there. I'm not sure that you want to lean on those orders yet. They took the 12, and now the guy at 11.5 is pulling. That's okay. That wasn't even a real order. The spread is widening here. Curious. Okay, yeah, I am getting the news now that Russia is halting gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria. Robinhood is dismissing 9% of its 3,800 person workforce. Yeah, that's why I didn't. They were hiring down around here, and every time I go, because I wouldn't mind having a job that's more close to trading activity again. And but every time that I see one, it was Coinbase or Robinhood. I'm like, well, I don't know, I'll work for them. Coinbase would probably be an okay company to work for, but I'm concerned about tying my future to Bitcoin at this juncture. You think I'm feeling that Bitcoin is going to try and make another move today. Is that move going to be jump back above 40K again, or are they going to go for more lows? Either is possible. Certainly the Bitcoin holders would probably want to spike it above 40K, so we'll see what happens. Stung by its rivalry with TikTok, a YouTube sales slowdown weighed on Google's results. In other words, YouTube needs to improve its short system. Yeah, I agree with that. Because with the way that it is right now, I would love to repost my TikToks onto YouTube, but I don't bother because it clutters up my channel page. Okay, so now that we've kind of fallen down through some of these levels below us and realize that it's not a break of the larger trend. It's probably not a break of the larger trend until we get to like below regular session lows, actually, to be honest with you. But these prices here just below the VWAP in the 10-year aren't just breaking. There is some, they are having to trade some volume through them to make it happen. Natural gas spiking. Oh, by the way, I need to roll over my natural gas, but I do see it moving. Well, that could be just moving off of the headlines, right? Yeah, that could definitely be moving off of the headlines. The spread here in the 10-year is still a little wide for some reason. And I get a much better chart there of the natural gas. They are getting a spike. That one might be worth trying to follow. And is this move significant in cumulative delta? It looks like no, but it may be on the precipice of becoming a significant move in cumulative delta. Like 10 kind of seems to be like where the trend line is. I don't know. Or I'm also detecting a hint. It's not really coming through too much yet, but I'm detecting a hint of steepening. Azure revenue rises 46%. That's crazy. I like Azure. Well, let's not say that I like Azure because I haven't really used the other services too much. I mean, I've used them, but not nearly as much as I've used Azure. But my experience with Azure has been fairly positive. Hmm. Okay. Interesting. The micros are not quite reacting the same as the ES here, or as the main ones. The spread kind of widened, and for some reason, the market maker seems weary about bidding here between 2.75. You see that? The ES is taking another. Okay, German economy minister Habeck sanctions must not raise energy prices and support Russia. You see how much they're moving around that 2.75. And then the spread just like widens. That move in ES looked bad. I don't know if it was being triggered by news. The treasuries were maybe kind of reacting to it, but at the moment the moves are pretty disorganized. Except for, of course, natural gas. So let's just note right now 7.2. If I had a larger account, maybe I'd flip over there and try it, but so I really just don't like the spread that they're given right now. That, like, all of that is just not what you want to see. It might be a good spot to be short 2.75. Oh geez. Look at that. You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember anymore what ES stands for. I think that it starts with an E because that stood for E-mini. E-mini S&P 500, I think, is what it stands for. I forget what the larger contract was. I don't think they trade the larger contract anymore, do they? There was a chance for me to have hit it 275. But you can see here the liquidity is a little sketchy here. The E-mini does not look happy, does it? So it continues to be like I think that my larger bias would still be higher in the treasury, although one certainly has to wonder if they can really push much higher than they are at the moment. It could happen. I mean, there's room for us to move up further above us. Maybe even all the way up to 120.29. I don't see like a huge reason to be doing it at the moment or anything like that, but hmm. With this downturn, I've never felt more out of sync with the market. Like it's really wild to me that the market is in like outright panic mode, and I'm kind of sitting here like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? That doesn't seem quite right, does it? Like I must be missing something. Hmm. Hmm. I guess I have no choice if I ever want to get in. I'm gonna be super mad if they give me 7.5 though. Oh, there you go. Look, just for me. Well, it looks like enough are willing to fight over 10.5 that we might be okay here. That's where I wanted to go. I'm not gonna double down on it. Could have been better. Wasn't, and it didn't really catch the edge like I was hoping it might have. You can see some volume starting to trade through here in this area though. Why is the spread like 600 ticks in the macros yen? It's not like 600 ticks, but it is a big good 3 or 4. I think that this morning, I mean the liquidity isn't terrible compared to past days per se, although usually by this point it's gotten a little bit better. But the market orders have been able to overwhelm prices pretty easily. So I think that the market makers are just being extra cautious here. This is kind of like with me, I was really weary about hitting into it, and I ended up doing it, and I'm regretting it, right? Because now they're making some decent. Now the sellers are making some decent wins at 09.5. There is some pushback against it, but hmm. So something I will actually read this one. Okay. Will Ormias tweets Elon Musk has now publicly agreed with and amplified criticisms from the right of two individual Twitter employees today, one accusing its top policy exec of censorship and the other accusing a company lawyer of facilitating fraud. I find this interesting because I am definitely seeing, now that the deal is done, a shift to individual people within Twitter. And like, I think that eventually the story is going to be this person got fired, et cetera, you know? Hmm. So you see there that uptick at 09 half and then again at 10, 200 contracts each. It kind of makes me feel that any move up or down in the treasury at the moment is a little bit suspect because it's just kind of sliding around. Hmm. Well, somebody in the micros decided to hit it there at 2751. And somebody decides to sell it. So that movement and move back up has maybe prompted some speculative activity to come in here. Hmm. That's an awfully weak liquidity at 10 half, isn't it? Like, look at that. 82 offered. Oh, they hit it at icebergs a little bit. Like, they're to fill 200 lots, you have to iceberg it a little bit. That's crazy. Also, looks like that the 10-year may be lagging a little bit here. The 5-year is almost to the top of its range. Hold on a sec. So the 30-year is pushing it up there. The 10 has still yet to come along. The 10 is lagging. Well, no, the dog was in here. He was in the crate behind me. We had him on my shoulder a little bit earlier, but he wouldn't sit still enough for it. So he thinks that people are awake. He doesn't want to be sleeping or in his cage. He wants to be up and about. Yeah, that's interesting how much the 10-year is lagging there. So some pretty significant buy volume has come into the 30-year there. I'm not seeing as big of a move. I mean, they all moved up. But the 30-year, the volume is much more clearly a buying change in cumulative delta. So that's a little curious. If you had bought the 30 and 5 and sold the 10, you would have made a tick or two. But a lot of this up movement in the 10-year happened on like no volume. It's funny. Why do you call it the butterfly dog? His name is Goku, guys. Oh, look at that. Somebody in the 10-year insisting on selling it? Or is it part of a spread trade? I'm not sure about that one. That kind of puts me in an odd spot, though, when all of a sudden I'm unsure about the reliability of the volume, the market orders in the 10-year. Normally we can rely on that a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know about this. This is a really odd situation we're getting here. We are like just ahead of the S&P 500 open. So that's another thing that I find a little odd is typically the treasuries aren't fighting at this juncture. There's definitely some sort of meta order coming through in the 30-year. I wonder if that could just drag us up to the highs. I feel like recentering things, but I'm gonna resist that so that we can see the degree to which these spread. I would think that the most likely thing would be for the 30-year to catch up and go up to 13.5, but these ones could come down. I'm curious. And after all of that initial movement and everything, should we call it initial movement? It's the volume is kind of petered out here. Yeah, it looks like the other two came down. Forbes talking about Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. I wonder how much media is actually getting off of that story. Because I certainly read a lot about it, but not from mainstream news outlets. And I saw a lot of people on Reddit said that they were just tired of the story already. Like from the very beginning, it was like some people were tired of it. What percentage you say Sachs order book of data of NQ has more real-time refreshes compared to data? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. When a company like CQG consolidates the updates compared to the exchange? What percentage of that? I bet you it's less than 1 to 5%. It's going to be small enough that it will, there'd be no way for you as a human to be able to tell, you know? If you as a human could tell, then people would start complaining, right? It seems to me like it's insignificant. I mean, to a high frequency trading robot, it might not be insignificant, but okay, so the book, well, actually, for a second there, the spread kind of consolidated in the micro, but then it widened back out. And the 10-year definitely dragged the other two down, which is curious. Down to the bottom end of the range, at least. CFTC Commissioner Goldsmith Romero announces staff appointments. I have to say, like, this move down to the lows. Yeah, okay. It happened on very little volume in the 10-year. Hmm. We got 2 minutes to the S&P 500 open. Which way do you think that they're going to go on the open? Should we do a poll? There we go. There's a poll. The 30-year is still kind of hesitant to come down. So it's probably some spreading activity, but you can't sort out what it is. Kind of seems to me like the 10-year is not going to give us a break on the spread here today, which really sucks. I can kind of already sense myself looking into like, let's get back into something. But this action here this morning doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And that last one never really got very much out of it. So I could try looking for shorts. I mean, look, the 10-year is going down. There's okay, so far the initial move in ES is up. Oh, the only two of you that voted said down, huh? Okay, well, that's what we're ending the poll that way. Here, I'll take a long in ES. Yeah, the 10-year is falling apart there. Hmm. I don't know. The S&P 500 is looking a little flaky, but the bonds are definitely selling off here. There's a lot of it just moving. So there might be some moves in the cash market in the treasuries that we're not seeing. The way that those treasuries sold off there on the open makes me suspect that the S&P 500 is going to try and pull a bull. But I don't know. I don't feel very good about taking any kind of trade in the 10-year right now. Although the spread has chilled out. That's nice. The liquidity has improved a little bit. I guess President Putin is speaking at the moment. It was looking really good there for a moment, but it just comes back to the same spot in the ES. The treasury is recovering a little bit there, so 276 is there's an opportunity. I feel the desire to take trades, but given that my overall thesis was that we would be seeing some more bubble up buying, and we're not seeing that necessarily, kind of we could come back and maybe even significantly, and maybe even back to the high of the day for all I know. But I don't have a reason. I don't have a reason to think that a really strong reason that the next set of orders is really going to be buys like that. What would I have that tells me that? Well, Putin's talking. Russia will achieve all of its goals in Ukraine. Maybe we could get a headline that we could trade. Okay, ES does appear to be resolving to the upside. Oh, Financial Juice is going to be doing a live stream here, eh? EIA trade inventories pending home sales. That's what they're talking about, I think. Fauci says U.S. is out of the pandemic phase. Okay. See, did I miss any headline? Oh, because Michael Burry spoke earlier. I missed it. If I had pledged the majority of my shareholdings to support personal loans, I might hate short sellers too. But short sellers on a stock have nothing, zero zitch nada to do with the success or failure of the underlying business. Probably. They certainly aren't. They certainly don't help. But yeah, the short sellers don't become a problem unless there's already a problem in the stock, huh? So what we got right here is your probably your expected. Should I say probably? You're gonna with the way that we are sliding around on light liquidity, that down move is certainly going to be attended by a pullback of some sort, and that's what we're getting. Okay. Also, we are seeing that correlation with equities come through again, right? S&P 500 not looking so hot. Not looking so hot, and so the treasuries are seeing maybe a little bit of lift again. So 5-year 2 ticks down there. The other two didn't move though. Microsoft shares gain at open after results. I wonder if some of that tech allocation is just going to go into Microsoft now, since pretty much everyone else is doing dismal right now. Naked shorts are a problem. Yeah, well, but I think that the naked shorts problem is probably overblown. So, especially the whole thing with broker dealers, I'm just telling you, like, okay, yeah, a broker dealer, if somebody wants to go short, a broker dealer will just fill the order and figure it out later, okay? But they're not going to allow like a substantial portion of the float to be short there for like, months and months and months. Like, people think that whole GameStop fiasco, that they're still like short, shares that don't exist or whatever. Highly unlikely. You'd be so dumb and irresponsible. A broker dealer would not do that. There would be way too much risk on that. So now it's the 5-year that's kind of dragging us down. And there the 10 succumbs to, but not the 30. Now the 30. And a good clip higher. And the S&P 500 working out new highs, looking really nice now. That's looking really, really nice. Yeah. Yeah. Does that mean Treasury's going to sell off here? Well, that's what they're doing at the moment. Granted, we're elevated compared to earlier points of the extended session. So how far we go in the 10-year is a difficult one to sort out. But there was a lot of volume down in the 120.030 area. I also think that this area, well, actually we're below that, so that one doesn't really matter. I'm going to say 120, between 120 and 120.030. So this area right here is maybe a little bit interesting. I'm kind of now I'm kind of shifting right now. I'm like, well, we could try going with it. But do we know why? Well, the S&P 500 recovered 4,200. So I don't know. Is the S&P 500 doing well? A good enough reason to go long the Treasury here? Yeah, a bunch of accounts left and joined Twitter on the day it was announced Elon Musk had a deal to take over, fluctuating a lot of follower accounts. Is that something going on within Twitter, or is that like the robots, the robot makers shifting their robots? The COVID zero trap. The cost of a flawed policy is only mounting for China and the world. Bloomberg Business Week. Well, I'm gonna just let that thing over there, my E-mini trade, just run, dude. That could be. They haven't busted the overnight highs. The overnight highs is 42.16. Let's call it 42.17. 42.17. Bust of that could trigger some stops in ES. Oh, that's looking awfully positive, man. You can see the Treasury moving there. Okay. Oh, not quite. There you go. Yeah. Well, some volume there, but some might pull back a little bit. But that looks awfully nice. Can you believe this has turned into a really strong downtrend in the treasuries? Now we're starting to get into those prices where we thought, okay, it gets interesting. So do you want to sell it here at the highs? I don't know. I think that I could probably here in the regular, I could probably do that. Hmm. So spreads tightening, inside is a little lighter. Oh, there's a good stop run there in the treasury. I don't know about that one, man. Well, S&P 500 is just going gangbusters. Just remember that 4220 was kind of some areas where there was kind of like, where they kind of hovered most of the day in the ES before like succumbing going into the close. You got this spot here, 4230, and then there's like the whole gap going up to the open. So 30-year getting creamed there. Seeing flattening coming into the market. More significant flattening coming into the market. That little scalp in the sim scalp in the 10-year, that was easy. I don't think I've made a losing trade in the actual with the sim account here in the actual ZN in like a month. I think it's just mostly luck, but well, the 10-year looks like it might be on track to touch 2.8. I'm starting to wonder here. This just seems like such a dramatic change, doesn't it? Like the past 2 days, we're seeing these really ugly moves in the equities and treasuries were moving up, but it was like really hard for me to sort out what are the driving factors here. Why is the S&P 500 really panicking? There's lots of different options. I'm not getting like really big obvious news driven moves. and now S&P 500 buys pretty heavy, and we see a very, very strong downtrend in the treasury. So it seems to me that the treasury still cares more about any equity strength means that interest rate policy will be hawkish. Yeah. Seems like they care more about that than anything else for the time being. Well, after touching 120, you did see the volume kind of the backwash come through. That in the 5 year, like there was some really aggressive selling even going into that up move. So that's curious. But that means that now that we've broken lows and the treasuries are getting the volume, that like other people are coming into the market, right? Now, because of the liquidity situation and the speed with which it came down, we should expect pretty deep pullbacks. Ouch. Yeah. A big order right there with 3.5. Hmm. Okay, so ES didn't quite get to 30 yet before getting getting orange bars basically. We're getting down bars now in ES. Hmm. 07 half, that was kind of like where things broke out, right? Let's recenter it here. No, now that they're touching that big order at 06. Iceberg, huh? Wow, but they broke down through that. That's just, we got light action, all of a sudden there's an iceberg and then they punch through it. They're just gonna come through 2 or 3 ticks. Now there could have been a large meta order buying down off of that on like profit taking and so forth, and that 06 might have been some of it. So you have to kind of keep an eye on that. Could be an inflection point. Okay, a large offer just got placed at 05 half and then pulled. Hmm. Another iceberg at 05. No, only 1378. think I made a bad play there. There's no reason that I couldn't have waited. Okay, so the S&P gonna base out here and make another push up. Let's see here. Where's natural gas at now? Remember when we talked about it first, it was at 7.2. It actually came back all the way to 7.1, but now it is at 7.335. Meanwhile, as the interest rates spiked there, gold took it on the nose again. And there has been some slight correlation with the Japanese yen, but it hasn't been as big of a mover as it has been in other days past. We'll see. They're kind of in the chop zone in the 6J. So if the 6J were to turn around and start going down lower, you might get some serious momentum out of it. But for now, it's unclear. Oh 06. You're feeling lucky today? I think that the natural gas one is one that you might be able to hold for a few days, yeah? Well, I don't know. Like if it's the trade that we think it is, based off of the news, it could be one that you could just stay in. But at the same time, the way that it's moving, just that it came all the way back to 7.1, which was where it was before it started spiking, kind of would have to give you a little bit of pause about how much adverse excursion you can handle, huh? Well, I'm starting to wonder here in the interest rates. Boeing tumbles after another dreadful quarter. Leaked audio from Twitter execs reveals scramble to cope with Musk takeover. That sounds interesting. But nothing to give us a clue about why the Treasury sold down so hard there, other than that the S&P 500 was buying up, and this pullback could just be due to the liquidity conditions. So we do get some news coming here, huh? Pending home sales change month over month. -1.2 versus an expected -1%, and index 103.7. So that's pretty in line with what I think they were expecting, and the treasuries don't seem to care. S&P 500 may be embarking on another run, though. a little bit of a hole at 06. I don't think that it would take too much to push them out of this range, but there is a little bit of gravity there. All that move up, it looks okay in ES, but they're gonna have to break new highs first. Now, if they break new highs, then this could turn into a real amazing up day, right? Of course, it would just be reversing the previous day's crazy down day, but the marketeer tweets, "I'm a Nasdaq trader, but trade Bitcoin." Right? Yeah, that's the way that you would do it because they're so heavily correlated, but you get more beta with Bitcoin. Oh, that failed pretty hard there in now what's this? Okay, so the S&P 500 are moving down there, but there was a lot of movement both ways in the 10-year. It looks though like the S&P 500 is heading for the average true range stop. I don't know. I feel like this move in the treasury is a little bit too much for it to just be correlation. Although there was, I do remember complaining about the volume, huh? And we've been kind of back and forth in this range around 06 quite a bit now. Yeah, there's the ES breaking the ATR stop. Well, guys, I feel like I just don't have it today. No? Okay. Yep, still some gravity there. Oh, yeah, they just ticked down 3 ticks just all at once there in the 10-year, man. Jeez, and all the way back up. Well, I wonder if this is just like they don't actually have a fundamental reason to be moving, and this is all just trader positioning causing extreme moves now at this point. Because that's some pretty interesting stuff there. But it is like the volume is turning into selling at, well, okay, so they're buying in the 5 and they're selling in the 10. That's what's happening there. Set it right there. Ethereum crowd has gobbled up blocks of calls over the last 24 hours. We did see here with the S&P 500 moving up, we did see a little bit of a move up in the Bitcoin, but that almost immediately sold back down. And natural gas, it looks like it's continuing through. Wait, what? That's somebody that I know? No, maybe not. No, that must be a different person with the same name. Okay, so now we find out, does the S&P 500 find a base here? There we go. Sure, why not? You love that corn? Oh, what's corn doing? Oh yeah, corn's doing the same thing as natural gas. I wonder if there's a correlation between those that I'm not super aware of. You know what? When I'm looking at my chart though, what seems to be having the most relative volume at the moment is GE, so euro dollars, and gold. Gold got hammered there, man. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it just so like, man, I tell you what, if you're concerned about inflation, corn is the play, not gold, right? No. So the E-mini looked like maybe it was going to build something, and then they got smacked down. But the treasuries didn't actually react in correlation with that one, I don't think. They're still kind of in like a bear flag. How long has it been? 7:49. So it's actually only been about 20 minutes. So probably we got another 30, 40 minutes before, you know, the liquidity recovers if there's going to be another leg of selling in the treasury. Hmm. This would probably be great for going for ticks if you would give yourself a really big stop, but it's getting awfully messy here in the 10-year. I'm just kind of thinking about how, oh man, the E-mini is just coming back so hard there. I don't want to be in this. Shoot. Biden likes ethanol. Oh well, that's the whole thing about let them to use ethanol. That's like that seems like a really bad idea to me. You know, man, is this gonna flip all the way back up? I don't know, man. But I just don't seem to have it today, do I? I had to give myself a little bit more room in general, but I never really got a whole lot. That second one, I maybe got 6 favorable ticks, right? That last one I think was a bad trade. That was like a mistake. I shouldn't have taken that one. That was like FOMO. It would make sense for me to go long maybe in this location. 2.76. But even then I'm kind of sitting here going like, like look, they're getting away from the node. They're gravitating back towards 09 half. Are they doing that just because of the S&P 500? Maybe. I mean, that seems like a lot of volatility just over that, but it could be what's going on. That is quite the rally in the S&P 500 for them to be completely retracing it, though, right? If that ended up being like that's the rally and then they push lows of the session and it today ends up being a down day in the equities, that would be a really crazy turn of events, wouldn't it? Yeah, back to the open in ZN accomplishing nothing. Well, there's a large order just showed up at 09. They seem to be reacting to it too. Okay, I'm hearing EU to adopt ban on Russian coal imports, I believe. That could be the sort of thing that could push equities down. Thanks, C Cleaner. You should never pop up like that. So I never really seen very much volume hit that 09. I was wondering to see if if they hit it, if an order would show up. But so far they're not giving it the chance to do that. See. Well, their rates are moving quite a bit compared to the treasuries too. I am Hung. Hey, how are you? Dude, this could go back up to the high of the day in the treasury. What the heck? I mean, the E-mini looks like it's falling apart. They did reach the regular session lows, right? That's ugly. I don't know. What do you think? Should I try and keep this thing on in ES? I mean, I got awfully good bull. I'm really shocked that it came all the way back. All 30 points. Was it 30 points? Is it more than that? It's 50 points. All 50 points. What? Jeez. Well, when I look at ZN, the cumulative delta is still net negative. So if the treasuries did make a run for the highs, you might start to see crazy things. Yeah, there is a little bit of a flight to safety bid in the ZN. Do you see when it was ticking up, there was pretty big orders hitting it? I mean, like they traded that $1,500 once, and whereas that down move was mostly 200s, or most of that at least. Now a lot has traded at 09 half, so we do have to factor that in. ES has slowed down a little bit here after breaking the regular session lows. There's still like the last pivot low, 41.63 below them that they may attack. And then beyond that, they're going to go for the low at 41.37. I mean, that seems so far away, but like that's what we're at here. That's the sort of market we're in here. Jeez Louise, right? Look at the spread in the 5-year yield. The 10-year is still tradable, but the rest of them are like, good grief. I am seeing a bit of absorption there in the ES towards these lows. Hmm. That one looked like the market maker didn't want to pull it, but somebody decided to trade through them as the E-mini was moving up there a little bit. The 6J. Okay, so there they took 09 offer finally. 1,200 contracts. Yeah, now we're going to get the gas inventories in 10 minutes. What do you think that's going to do? Given what natural gas is doing here this morning, I'm surprised that gold hasn't moved all that much. Or sorry, not gold, oil. Oil hasn't moved all that much. Gold is all over the place. Gold's getting hammered. And another tick down, 1437. S&P 500 does appear to be making some. God, why am I so off today? So terrible. I think I'm reading the liquidity okay, but it's just not going my directions. Yeah, crude has been selling. I mean, for all we know, this move right here up in the S&P 500 is just a pullback, and they're going to push lower. I don't know. Like to have another really big down day does seem a little suspect, but I mean, anything's possible here at this point. Anything's possible here at this point. Feel like that the 10-year fell back down there to 07 a little bit too easily. I mean, they did trade the volume to throw them out of that hole, and there wasn't the support in the 0908 half area like there should have been. So now they could flip back up through it. Mm-hmm. Should we reset it? I guess. I don't know. Natural gas looks like it doesn't look like it's done to me, man. Looks like they're going to build some more volume here at 07. There was a big order there at 4180 and ES that appears to be reversing the market here. And now a big order above us, not nearly as large, but I have 4185. Spoos getting awfully random in this range, huh? We still got 30 minutes. But now we're kind of, I don't know. So remember we had that point, it came back and we're like, well, now we could get another move. It actually had that strong move up long before we probably thought that it would come in. Maybe now in the next 15 minutes, we might see more come through, but I don't know. I don't know. It looks like they're going to come back up to the higher end of that range in the treasury, potentially. Man, it sure goes. Like when it goes, it's like 3 ticks on only 100 contracts and it just goes. It does look like that 06 was kind of gravity, but that they didn't have enough selling to get through it. You think ES is going to dump? I'm a little concerned for ES here for sure. Like that was a 50-point rally that they threw away. Like any other day, any other situation, that would have just kept going and going all day. I'm not so sure I can make a very good call on what the next move in ES is going to be, though. I mean, I'm worried about it that it could be lower, but it's being really random in this range right now. So. And in the treasury, we definitely stuck between two large nodes at 06 and 09. With the VWAP a little bit closer to the 09 half. So we're below the VWAP right now. And here comes crude oil, by the way. Dancing at 07, but they seem like they were having a hard time keeping it bid there. But then no problem at 07 half, huh? See, this is, so I think we're kind of in a situation where some of our order flow reads might not be very reliable. Because the liquidity is just being so unreliable, right? Well, geez, all of a sudden the S&P 500 is starting to trade a little furiously again. There is some buying the dip at 41.69. Here comes the oil numbers. Oh, they're succumbing. They're succumbing. There's new lows in ES. A little bit further, and they're starting to push some market maker levels. Yeah. So I didn't see what happened when they came back through that large order that had initially kind of pushed them up. But I don't think that anything too big traded there. And now they haven't broken the market maker positioning quite yet, but from the overnight session, but they're getting there. Like below 41.60, you might start to see some acceleration. And I'm surprised. So we are getting the correlation between equities and treasuries, but I'm surprised that with the ES pushing new lows there, that the treasuries aren't pushing up as hard as they were earlier. Perhaps that's because that earlier move was maybe a bit of a stop run. I don't know. The volume is still like very net negative. So especially if let's say 11, let's say ZN gets above 11, maybe things change. I don't know. Okay, and there's a breach of 4160. So now we're in ugly territory. Yep. Yep. Can you just see me cringing here thinking about our 401ks and everything? Like another down 4% day in the Nasdaq would be so brutal, right? It kind of makes me sick just thinking about it, because that's just real market panic, right? And like when markets start to panic, you'll start to see insane volatility even on a day-to-day basis, where it's like we'll have a big down day and then we'll have a big up day and a big down day, and that's often where you want to buy the dip, right? But this one, we had a really strong rally on the open, and then they just sold that in the end. What? Destroy the pension. Yeah, you got another 40 years. Yeah, I know. I really shouldn't concern myself with it too much, because I'm not going to touch it no matter what. But man, oh, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. That's like Daddy Powell, save us. Oh, that's today's title. Daddy Powell, please save us. Smash the retirees, dude. My generation is going to have a hard time when it comes to retirement. It just needs to get it over with. It's clearly out of steam. The Nasdaq. Well, so here's a couple of thoughts about that, right? Because one take on it would be that the market was in a bubble, and this is the market bubble popping, right? And so then you would want to sit back and say, okay, what is like a reasonable market valuation for the current market? Yada 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 yada, right? But there's this other side of it, which is like, what moves the market is orders, right? So how many orders are going to come through? And when you think about that, we had big down day, slight up day, and then another big down day. How many more sell orders can there be? How much can there? That's crazy amounts, right? And then when you really start to think about how much has come out of the market here, right? It starts to get a little alarming. Well, the Treasury's backed off of 120.11 there. I think that was because a flight to safety bid came into the Treasuries, but the 6J did not turn. Is that right? Yeah, there was a little spike in the 6J, but it came back real quickly. So, and man, that the micro yields just moved real fast, right? Those down $10 and then back up just like that. Maybe because the S&P 500 did have a slight up move, but Yeah, the S&P is starting to do this thing where they will chop into people's stops for sure. Like the shorts, a lot of like average true range traders are going to have stops at like 41.76 ish, right? And you can see them kind of smashing into them, trying to pull some liquidity. There was a big buy there at 41.75. Don't you think it's caused by? No, I'm not 100% sure what's causing it all, to be honest with you. There's a lot of different things going on, and it just feels to me like extremely negative action for the markets to be falling down this much and us not being 100% sure why is really odd, don't you think? I mean, that's the big thing that keeps going through my mind is like, how can it be selling this hard and there not be like some active crisis that everybody knows is happening? You know? Now, that said, Tesla is a big part of those indexes, and Musk taking out that debt has been hurting their share price. So it probably is a factor. It's all Joe Biden's fault. There you go. Thank you, Joe. It would not be possible without all your hard work. I'm looking forward to real estate dumping next. Oh man, dude. So like we still have limited inventory in the real estate market. Okay, so anything that happens in the real estate market, I'm sure could be recovered quickly. But yeah, the real estate market, as these interest rates are rising, they can gonna get hammered. Yeah. Well, prices have already come down quite a bit in the real estate market. Where is Jesse Livermore? He killed himself. That's he unalived himself is probably the proper language. I don't know, guys. Maybe the treasuries think that the S&P 500 is going to dig their way out eventually. One does have to wonder if also they were getting another one of those the selling is mostly Europeans sort of a thing. Oh, look at that. That's some interesting price reactions. And you know what? I'm really surprised that my initial buy was at 41.87 though. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Yeah. See, I'm trying to get some sort of a continuation trade here today, and it's not. What it's doing is it's ranging. I don't know what to do. I obviously I'm done trading for today, is what I think, because that was three full losses in a row, $50. Pretty nasty for me to have never really gotten much something about my read is really off. Now, when this happens, it does seem like it's kind of like, you thought it was going to move up today and it didn't. It would kind of did all over the place, right? You talked an old man into retirement last year. My parents are retiring soon. I'm sitting here like, well, I sure hope the S&P 500 doesn't drop 50% on them. But I think that they've moved enough out into safe havens that they'll be fine no matter what. So you say Matt sold that flesh at the bottom. I mean, I want to take more trades, But the logical side of me is saying that anybody that thinks they know where this is going next is deluding themselves. I'm gonna keep this long on, so if it works out, I look like a genius. But the treasuries are being really crafty on me today. It's not working for me at all. After having done so well for so many days, and then one day 3 trades, all of them losers. And it wasn't like they were all in the dirt. Same. One of the things that will happen to me is I'll have a lot of losers, right? But it will all be like I'm trying to buy it one way and it never goes, right? But no, this was a sell, buy, sell. So I did get a good trade in the ZN though, huh? But no, I think that we should be cognizant of the fact that a lot of this action is just noise, right? You might not be able to predict this action. Might be better to just stay out. Even though there looks like there's so much opportunity and like something's gonna happen. I don't know. So for them to come back to 05 is a little curious to me. There you go. So S&P 500 resolving up there definitely changed the way that ZN traded. Yeah, well, and I haven't been very good at trading the S&P 500 lately, so that could be why we're having trouble in the treasury too, right? If the equity correlation is the biggest driver here. And it is that flight to safety correlation when the S&P 500 is plummeting. If we wanted to buy, this might be a spot to do so. You can kind of see them having a little bit of problem because they've come so far away from this thing and there continues to be some buy-side liquidity here. Maybe giving some indications that they might form another hole at 03. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know why. I think I'm on a revenge tilt right now because I really want to place a trade here. This is a little bit concerning though, because if the S&P 500 really decides to rally, then you're going to see the interest rates rise again and kind of cut them off at the heels, right? Hmm. Like up until now, wow, well, that was a really great long stop run. Up until now, I've been thinking, well, equities are probably overreacting and they could just easily flip back up to 4,500, right? Now I'm looking at it and I'm starting to think, actually, Actually, there might be some problems with that, right? Hmm. So that was a little odd flurry of volume there in the 10-year. They gonna hit that 03 now? Could be fun. Could be fun. 03 half is trying real hard, but I don't know if they'll be able to build up enough there to take out the 03. Yeah, see. Uptick. 283 already hit back at it though, huh? S&P 500 still looking okay. Five-year down a tick. 30-year down a tick. We're getting the 10-year lagging again, aren't we? Why do we keep getting this from the 10-year? Is it just because the liquidity is so bad and everything else, and the 10-year is the only thing that actually moves reasonably? Okay, well, they took him out at 03 and they just hit all of it all at once, so. A little bit more trading there at 03 too. And Spoos still looking up. I don't know. I don't know, man. Nasdaq killer, you said that Matt sold that flush at the bottom. I'm kind of starting to think here that it reversed there just because of him. Matt. Maybe you need to size down a little bit, Matt. That's because it seems like because it's doing the same thing to me in the treasuries. It's like, oh, Seth went long, let's go the other way. Yeah, we've gotten too big for our britches. And the market is starting to actively trade again. That's what's going on here today. Yep. But don't feel too bad about it, Matt, because being able to cause the market to reverse off of that big of a down move is really impressive, right? That's really impressive. I don't know. So there's a little pause in the trend there in ES. Treasury still showing some downside pressure, but there does appear to be some volume down below us waiting for those fills, maybe. Pretty consistent downtrend here too in the treasury. So Has that been the whole? Yeah, it's been the whole length of this rally in the S&P 500. So that might cause a problem for us in terms of like where might we want to exit and so forth, because our volume nodes and so forth, the things that we normally look for in the 10-year might not be as helpful because they're going to turn when the S&P 500 turns, and that I have a hard time knowing when it's going to do that, because a lot of what the S&P 500 does seems random. Would not take very much here in the treasuries for this to go like back up to 2.8, right? Hmm. 30-year. 30-year pushing new lows there. Yep. New lows in the 30-year. We're getting steepening. Let's reset things. Does that mean that the S&P 500 is going to, that they're betting that the S&P 500 is going to recover and make a new high? Oh man, if this, well, I don't know. Wait, one thing that we have to consider here now is that the S&P 500 might start chopping and ranging instead of just plowing all the way back up and busting the high. I would like to see it plow all the way up and bust the high. You can see the way that I think, just the fact that that's the thing that I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want. That's what my first scenario. That's really just wishful thinking on Seth's part, isn't it? Because I like to see trends continue, but we might see the S&P 500 chop a lot. Yeah, we may. But what's happening here in the treasuries seems to be a little bit more than just what the S&P 500 is doing. Like, it seems like it's definitely shifting and pivoting with the S&P 500, but there also appears to be a overall negative bias at the same time. So we'll see what happens. The 10-year didn't touch into 120 again yet. That's an area that might become a bit of a magnet. You're going to want to trade that liquidity there, especially if they really decide they want to sell it. But yeah, there has been all through this area, there's been a little bit better liquidity overall, right? I shouldn't say liquidity, like the amount of volume that's been trading in there has been pretty solid. Although it's going to be a while, for them to, the volume profile guys, they say, when we have volume trade here, that's acceptance. And we got a long way towards acceptance versus the prices that we traded up here, right? So we'll see what happens. It is about time for me to get going. I'm just going to check through here. You guys are a little quiet here this last 30 minutes. We all doing okay? Surely, Laftas must be happy, because that natural gas is just still hanging out up there. Oh yeah. Okay, I got to get going. I will see you guys later. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.